Good morning out there, lovely Tuesday morning. Yes, today 28th day of the month of March 2023. Little by little, we have just a couple of days to the end of the first quarter of the year. Yes, to the glory of God for His mercy that has kept us, the giver of life. And yes, today on AM Cafe, the morning breakfast conversation on Osbc TV. We are live on Star Times 113 and 502 on Free TV. Likewise on YouTube. My name is Benga Famino, welcoming everyone to another important conversation that bothers so much on our lives. I'm not here alone. I'm here together with
My name is Olusola Hebudofo. Good morning and welcome to AM Coffee this morning, and we are taking a look at the $680 million African Development Bank Tech Fund to Osun State Government, and the governor has already created their support desk for Osun Tech Innovation and Entrepreneur, and we have the guest in the house, the guest that knows the and that can explain everything about ICT.
Because if you say $618 billion fund,
what does that really mean?
I mean, anybody that hears that will be like, wow, big money. Big money or show has come.
And the guest is around to marshal the points, what the money is meant for.
Yes.
And the guest in the house is Mr. Shola. Is the media assistant on ICT. You're welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you on board.
Thank you. That's all I can say is thank you.
AFDB Tech Fund.
Yes.
Well, I think we should quickly clarify.
Yeah.
Are we saying the total sum is coming to Osun?
No.
Or the total sum is for Nigeria, and Osun wants to have its own share of the fund?
The total fund is for Africa.
It's for Africa.
Yes.
Good.
It's for Africa. However, when we talk Africa, we often refer to Nigeria as giants.
Yes.
I mean, even though development-wise we might not be the giant, but in terms of number and in terms of young individuals who are taking the tech space up, Nigeria seems to have that large number too. So, I mean, we can always assume that the larger percentage of that money is coming to us, Nigeria. So, that's why it's interesting when the governor gave that directive that a desk office should be created. What that desk office would do is to support techpreneurs and even other entrepreneurs that are interested in applying.
Okay. Now, before you go too far, let's talk about African tech space.
Yes.
For clarity, because it's like we are speaking a new language that not everybody understands all these things.
Yes.
Talking about the African tech space, where are we in Africa? What does it look like right now? So after talking about Africa, we now come to Nigeria, then we come to Osun.
Okay, so when you actually say Africa, that's a tall order. Because when you want to compare our development in terms of infrastructure to a country like Ghana or South Africa or Kenya, we're going to be struggling, to survive. For instance, when Twitter was coming to Africa, they stayed in Ghana because of power supply. They need power supply. We don't have that. We don't have that yet. And so even if you want to say that they should probably rely on solar or whatever, they need to go to the north. That's far from the ports, the airport, the seaport,
which is in
Lagos. And Lagos is not powered, with electricity. So they stayed in Ghana. So that pushes us back, because when they want to come here, they're looking at where can we stay. We need access to power, we need access to raw materials. Those are the things that is diminishing Nigeria. So Africa is growing actually. As a matter of fact, I can tell you for a fact that manpower is from Nigeria, even for all African tech hubs.
Okay.
Manpower is from, let me give you an instance. I have a friend of mine, close friend of mine. In fact, when he was getting married, I best him. he got a job in Dublin, Ireland, last month, and he never even traveled to get the job. He was interviewed online, everything.
Yeah, in Nigeria.
So they are picking Nigerians.
Okay.
So when we talk of human capital resources, we have it.
But infrastructure,
no,
we don't have it.
No, we don't.
All right. And that brings us to Nigeria.
Yes.
Infrastructure, we don't have it, but we have the human resource.
Okay.
Okay, so how does this AFDB money help us infrastructure-wise to start with?
So one of the things that I think Nigerians need to credit President Buhari for is the Nigerian Startup Act.
Oh, okay.
Because it's going to enable tech companies, not even only tech companies, digital and creative enterprises. Because even that fund, they've named it IDICE, which means innovative digital and creative enterprise. So they want to do beyond tech, because they realize that a lot of people are doing innovative things that may not necessarily require a large chunk of tech innovation. So it's beyond tech. So even this IDICE, one of the reasons why Austrian people need to appreciate Governor Adeleke is because you remember a while ago we were talking about Austrian startup.
Yes.
This funding is going to enable startup. So to leverage on that fund, you need your startup act as a state. Not so many states in Nigeria.
Localizing the
Yes.
act. Okay,
Yes.
localizing
Yes.
the
So
act.
we are already on the track to ensuring that Australian residents who are tech inclined, who are into maybe digital and creative enterprises, will be able to access the fund without stress.
Digital and creative enterprises.
Yes.
Shed more light.
So if you look at what's happening around us today, a lot of people are bringing up new ideas, and not every one of them includes, necessarily requires a large technical base. For instance, some people are building applications that does not require a high level of code. I don't want to be using those languages,
Yes.
right? Because so there is what we call PHP, there's what we call JavaScript, and all of those things. Those are high level tech, and some applications today does not even require. Let me give you an instance.
Okay.
A particular company was founded. They got funding to share money to farmers, and they don't even have any mobile application of sort. It's just a USSD code. All the farmer needs to do is to dial star so and put his details, and then he get funding. They do their confirmation, they do the calling, and all of those things. Those things do not require a high level tech.
All right, let's put it this way so that it should be easier for our viewers to understand. Let's start with fintech.
Okay.
Because fintech, when we say fintech, financial technology, recently with all this cash problem in the country, people started talking about OPay, PalmPay. I mean, people can relate with all these things. People can relate. It's like for the first time, many people are beginning to understand that, okay, there is now a difference between traditional banking,
commercial banks,
and online banking and the digital banking. And now, shed more light on, that kind of a sector, fintech, and how Osun gets better developed going forward with this attraction the government is providing.
So that's a large space to operate. We can have someone in Osun design something like that and get support from the government. But then the challenge with stuff like that is that you need license from the Central Bank of Nigeria, right? Like just a day ago, CBN released a list of accredited digital banks, and we have only 10.
Only 10?
Hey.
Yes.
10.
Only 10 of them accredited by CBN. So it means other ones are not accredited to do what they are doing. They are not, I would not be mentioning name because of other ones are not even accredited to do what they are doing because you are working with the CBN monetary policy. You are doing, CBN would give you a license. You have to also work with the Stock Exchange Commission. There are so many. CIBN needs to give you license, NDIC needs to give you license because people's money must be insured. So that's a large space to operate. The only thing that can happen is if we have any of such entrepreneur in Osun State who is interested, is that we can work together to ensure that maybe the government supporting getting those licenses and makes it easy for that person to go through. But it's not something, no state government in Nigeria can license any fintech.
That's
it's
right.
federal government and it's the CBN.
So how is Governor Adeleke's administration hoping to contribute to human capital development?
Yes, so I don't know. I think
Because people need to
yeah.
learn more, parents need to understand, and we think this new development affects the young brackets more.
So one of
But
the
there are
things-
many students that still don't understand
It's a
in terms of training and human capital development. Yes, thank you.
One of the things I have said, I've been saying for a while when I get engaged on radio or TV, is that this is a journey, right? And it's going to take us a long time to realize it. However, we can start measuring our results as soonest. And I said also that this innovation, this tech innovation drive in Osun State is going to go beyond Governor Adeleke.
That's right.
Because our vision is to institutionalize it and ensure that it becomes something that is done over and over again. Because when we see, I'm not sure anybody who comes in as a governor of a state and see a working system want to crumble it. So that's what we're trying to design. And I mentioned it earlier that, not on this program anyway, that our vision is to train 10,000 youths, in the state into different tech
Within 4 years or
skills
what?
within the next 4 years, into different tech skills that can get them jobs. These days people get jobs, remote jobs, hybrid jobs. They don't even need to leave the comfort of their home to work, but you need these tech skills. I as a person am taking some trainings, tech training. So if I don't think I've found comfort and I'm taking that training, what we want to do, because you need licenses, you need certifications, and so one of the things we want to do is to create a system where maybe the government is going to support people that are trained to get certificate, to get education. We would also make sure that we're the one that's sourcing for jobs, tech and inclined jobs. I mean, they are there. We just help you source for them, refer you to apply, and maybe even give you a reference letter, so that when you're applying for the job, they are sure that you can be trusted and you can work with them. So that's the area, but we're still coming up with the design to ensure that no loophole and then everything is done as it's supposed to be.
With what you have just mentioned now, to achieve all this, with the problem in the country, the power supply, the network, how do you think the state government, we are coming back to Osun State now, how do you think the state government can achieve this?
Yeah, so for network, it's also not something that can happen, within a short period of time, because of the intensive capital that is required. You remember that a while ago, the governor declared a right free of way for fiber optic lane in the states. Let me give you a background into that particular incident. Before now, to lay a fiber optic cable in any state in Nigeria, the company would need to pay about 1,000 naira per meter of any hole that is dug in each state.
A meter.
Per meter. So
8,000 naira.
1,000
naira per meter. So at the NGF level at that time, the Nigerian Governors Forum met and realized that to make this thing work, we need to crash the price.
Okay.
So they crashed the price from 1,000 to 145 naira per meter. Still, nobody was able to lay any cable. Because if you want to check it, if you want to calculate how many meter is in 1 kilometer, you have, that's a lot.
Yes.
So what we did is to say, okay, we declare you a right free of way, because we realized there's a company
Like they don't have to pay.
Yes.
Wow.
There's a company that had already gotten the license for Osun State. They'd gotten it years ago.
Okay.
They had done memorandum of understanding, just that the previous administrations refused to go through for whatever
That's
reasons.
right.
Best known
That's
to
right.
them. So what we did is, okay, we reviewed the MOU and then allowed these guys. They started laying it.
Yes.
I don't know if you have noticed.
Yes,
they started laying it.
So that's a great incentive.
Now the beauty of what they are laying, you will notice that there are different colors of cables.
Yes.
Because we are moving to 5G.
Yeah, gradually.
Yes.
I didn't think they had laid it earlier. Maybe it would have been 4G, but now we're talking 5G. So what they are laying is 5G. Now, if you notice, there's a map that I have on my phone. They have done a map. That thing is going to spread across the state.
Okay.
They're going around the state. What that means is that by the time they have done that thing round, our network connectivity will improve. I'm not saying it's going to be the best, but it's going to improve.
Now, before we leave that one,
Yes.
I'm glad Shola. I'm glad Shola is raising it.
what she's
Yes,
asking. Okay.
I'm glad Shola is raising it.
Yes.
Now, the cables are being laid,
Yeah.
but to ensure the security, the safety of the cables.
Yes.
In a country where, I mean, in an environment
Where
where we don't have a vibrant
Enough,
town planning system yet.
Yeah.
So anybody can just go to a particular spot and say, all right, I want to build, this is my land, and they will start
That's
digging,
even- that's
they
even
will
a
start
long
digging,
thing.
and
That's even a long thing to say.
how is the government trying to
Because
prevent this?
even in, okay, we've had issues before that. Even in road construction,
Uh-huh.
these cables are being damaged.
That's it.
You know, and it cuts off an entire community.
That's it.
So, but if you notice, the cable, what you are seeing, those colors you are seeing, it's not the cable.
Okay.
It's a casing.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a case. It's in that case that the cables will be passed.
That's it.
So it provides that at least a level of security, because for you to be able to cut through
What's
this
the
casing,
step? And is the government also monitoring to ensure that the cables are properly buried?
well, you can't overbury them too.
Oh, okay.
You can't overbury them too, because it's serving a purpose.
Yes.
Like I'm not certain now, but it has a specific number of meters that it has to go
down.
you know, for it to work appropriately. So they can't be too buried as well. So, but what you are all those things you are seeing, that casing. Initially, those cables are just laid,
Okay.
no casing. Then they realize, oh, at the level of maybe construction or somebody is digging something, they just cut off the cable. So that's why the casing is now done, and then the cables will be laid into the casing. So back to what I was talking about earlier. I think you're talking about how we can do
Yes.
the training and ensure that it works. So training, unlike before, has been broken down. People can take trainings from wherever they are. And then what has also been happening is, unlike normal school that you do 8 to 5, you can decide how many number of hours, how many number of minutes you want to do per day. For instance, the one I said I was taking, I do maybe only 1 hour per day. So because what they call it self-paced, you can choose how many hours you want to do. That those materials are in videos, some are in text, so you can choose your own pattern of study.
What's the plan to attract, as part of intentions to attract, what's the plan to attract techpreneurs? There are Osho indigenes doing fine in Lagos, in Lagos tech space, maybe even outside Nigeria. You just mentioned somebody now, meaning that such individuals are most likely going to be happy that, okay, there is a government in town now that seems to be encouraging this. In case they want to come around,
Yeah.
what's on ground, or what's the government intending to do to attract techpreneurs?
So on the 6th of March, when we were doing this unveiling of our reports on tech innovation for the governor, one of the things that was done that day was that the governor announced the inauguration of a board that he called the Digital Advisory Board. What we had done with that board is that before now, even before the admission was inaugurated, that we have been making contacts with individuals that are indigenous of Osun State,
Okay.
like in the tech space.
Yes.
There are about 10 of them that we had contacted, and they had agreed to be a member of the board. What their role is to advise the governor on steps to take and guide appropriately, because it's their own field. What that helps us to do is also that it helps us to attract funding. For instance, one of the members, because the government has not announced their name, so I will not be mentioning, one of the members I'm aware is someone who had done a partnership with Google to the funding of over $1 billion.
Wow.
Now, having that kind of a person on our board is a big deal. You know.
Yes.
So, and they're in their numbers like that. One of them also was someone who had constructed for the federal government on their digital skills. So,
And they are all indigenous.
they're all indigenous of Osun State, and we're bringing them on board. So that area is, I can assure you, it is well covered, because we have, and you know, they have network of people who are, for instance, one of them is from Ilegbo, and when NIDA, National Information Technology Development Authority, were doing these digital orbs around the state, he brought one to Osun State and placed it there. So that's one of those are the areas. I mean, we are we're looking at them and then we're attracting them one by one.
Shola, it seems you don't, you not answer that question.
Okay, let me understand.
Power
Maybe
supply.
power supply.
Yeah. Very,
You
very
see,
important.
you see, power supply. In as much as each state would want to take steps, there's a limit to what you can do with federal government projects, because you know there are lists of what each state government can do. However, if the state government want to step in power, you need to be able to relate with all these discos and all those guys that handles NERC and the rest of them. And they have bottlenecks.
Yes.
They have bottlenecks. So I'm not saying it's impossible for the state government to step in, but it's also the reason why I mentioned that these trainings are self-paced. So that it means if you have your laptop charged for maybe 2 hours or 1 hour, you can choose, okay, I want to do 30 minutes per day, I want to do 1 hour per day. You can reduce the number of time, and you can reduce also the number of time you use your laptop for other things to ensure that you're done with the training. And then,
Well, I think it's unfortunate that time is not on our side, but this is a topic that will continue,
all right?
And it should be getting bigger and more serious. Kudos to the administration of Mr. Demola Adeleke, put it that way. Is the first governor to take the bull by the horn like this. And I'm so sure, I think the young bracket is going to fall in love more and more with him. More and more with him. So I think we use this opportunity to thank our governor. Thank you so much, sir. And for those of you working with the administration, is so commendable. Thank you. So commendable. But like you said, it's a journey.
It's a journey, yes.
So I think all hands have to be on deck. And I look forward to a scenario where parents are going to be a lot more enlightened about the fact that before now, the impression had always been that if you carry laptop about, you're a Yahoo boy.
Yeah.
I hope everybody will start realizing now.
That's in the past.
But that's in the past.
Yeah.
And this Yahoo phenomenon, in fact, most of them, they are not dealing in the tech space.
No.
They are just...
They have no idea what tech is.
Many of them don't know about computing. They are just criminals. Simple. So anything Yahoo is just about criminality, not about the digital world. So we really appreciate what this administration is beginning to do, and we wish you good success.
Amen.
And we know we are also major stakeholders,
yes,
as a state broadcaster, and you can be so sure we are here, and we are going to do all this together by God's grace. Shola,
thank you.
Let's appreciate our contributors.
We sincerely want to appreciate our guest on this program this morning, Mr. Ishola, for giving us or for shedding more light on
the AFDB fund, $618 million.
Yes, and the time is not on our side again to explain more about the...
We hope we'll have another time
later,
to share more time.
So I want to appreciate our crew at the other side of the studio, the MCR, the VTR, and our cameraman in the studio. My name is Olushola.
Yes, not forgetting the producer, Olushola Ogunle Aluma, and the executive producer, Olasukomi Oyeba. My name is Benga Famino. Appreciating you for tuning in. Till we come away again tomorrow, this is wishing you a blessed week ahead. Goodbye and God bless.
Ricardo steps across at the other end. Oh, that's a gift for Rebic, who finishes it absolutely magnificently. They fell apart at the back, but they were punished in stunning.
Neuer now is playing as a midfield player. There's going to be another goal here. This will be it. Song Heung-min, 2-0, that is it. But their World Cup.
Two centre backs being good tonight for Haiti. Oh no, look out! What a mistake! Can you believe that happened? Oh my word! Duverger, Canadian born.
It's far more straightforward to Blackpool. It's a goal! Extraordinary! Benzema taking advantage of the error by Karius.
Volvemos a destacar lo de Campestrini.
¡Uy! Se durmió Campestrini. Perdió la pelota. El bueno Fierro le quitó el esférico. Fierro. ¡Gol! ¡De Chivas! El héroe de Puebla.
Ronaldo wasn't initially. Ronaldo with the shot. Oh, it's gone in! An error from David De Gea and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Zola goes, Giroud's up. It's missed by Neuer, and it's in! Olivier Giroud!
Wonderful morning to every sports fan that's watching all over the country. I welcome you to another wonderful edition of AM Sports, coming live from Osbc studios over here in Ile-Awiye, Okebale, and Oshogbo. And on today's program, we're going to be doing justice to the developing stories in and around the world of sport. I am your host, and my name is Daniel Equeri. And it was joyous for the Super Eagles yesterday when they faced the Jutons of Guinea-Bissau and were able to secure a 1-0 victory that saw them soar into the top of the table once more. And for the Jutons of Guinea-Bissau, they are disappointed that they were not able to capitalize on their first leg win and trying as well as possible to secure a second leg winner, against their counterparts, that's the Nigerian side. And for the Nigerians, they know that it was not a decisive or a well fought victory, but a victory is a victory when it comes to football, and the Nigerians have moved top of the table in that encounter. I'm also going to be talking about speculations from the fans in and around the world of sport. I'm going to be taking you around stories coming around from tennis, taking you stories coming around from the world of boxing, where Anthony Joshua is set to face off in a match by next month. And all of these juicy details are going to be coming up on this match, and I just want you to stay tuned and enjoy this ride with me. Let me take you through some of the games that were played yesterday in the AFCON African Cup of Nations qualifiers. And in Group A, our own, Nigeria were able to defeat Guinea-Bissau in a lone goal, which saw Nigeria move ahead after full time in that encounter. It was a match that was watched by everybody in the whole country, and people were really rooting for Nigerians to win. Earlier on, the Guinea-Bissau side, as the Jutons of Guinea-Bissau, they came to our own home ground over here at the Moshood Abiola International Stadium, and they were able to